Thank you, John, for your kind introduction. And thank you, Isaac Community, for this opportunity to take you on a journey to find your dream, your life's North Star. Let's begin today's journey with some stargazing. Imagine sitting outside on a beautiful summer's night, much like last night, and looking up at the starry sky. Your eye may be drawn to the brightly shining North Star. For our friends from the Southern Hemisphere, the Southern Cross might more easily come to your mind's eye. For thousands of years, humans have relied on these stars, the North Star and the Southern Cross, to guide their journeys. Travelers may have taken side trips or detours, experienced unplanned adventures along the way, but that bright light shining from the heavens above has always guided them back on course. Our dreams, our aspirations, are the North Star for our lives, guiding us through our journeys. Please allow me to share one example from my own life. Back when I was about 11 or 12 years old and was reading books like Johnny Ice Castle's Other Side of the Mountain, the very few books available back then written by or about people with disabilities, I had this desire, this dream, to, one day, someday, write a book about my life to help other people, like these books had helped me, to know that I wasn't alone in going through the stuff I was going through. Keep in mind that as a kid, the thought of writing a book was beyond imaginable. When writing a 500-word book report for school involved the arduous task of plunking away on an electric typewriter with only my left thumb. Such an assignment took days. Yet, the thought, which lived in my imagination, where the task of writing my story was not grueling, was also exciting and terrifying at the same time. Unlike now, when several of my friends and colleagues had written books, back then I didn't personally know a single author. With this dream carefully tucked away in my mind, I began tucking away mementos in my bedroom. For when I began writing my story, one day, life continued. I graduated from high school. My family moved to a rural area in the interior of British Columbia. I started taking the Certified General Accountant program by correspondence, thinking that, upon completion, I would start my own home-based accounting business. All the while my dream of writing my book was softly calling to me, beckoning not to be forgotten. Halfway through the 4-year accounting program, I realized I needed to do some more living before I could write my book. I needed more material. Besides, working on boring accounting assignments in my bedroom, long before the internet, as we know it today, and sat 20 miles from town, I realized I needed more in my life. Actually, I needed a life. After some research and some quick decision-making, I found myself living in a one-bedroom apartment in student residence, attending Simon Fraser University atop Burnaby Mountain, 6 hours from home. As the semesters ticked by, I chose to complete a psychology major because I was fascinated by how the brain works, or doesn't work. I also decided to do a publishing minor because I figured it'd be useful for my intended direction as a writer and author one day. With only a few courses remaining, I discovered that the last courses required for my publishing minor were only offered at the downtown campus, which, at that time, was an inaccessible bus ride away. I was totally discouraged, disappointed and furious. I felt my dream slipping away. Much later, long after the fact, I realized that switching my minor from publishing to communication was a mere detour, a side trip. My journey continued. I married a wonderfully supportive and loving man, Daryl. We celebrated our 18th wedding anniversary last Tuesday, I launched my own business as a web accessibility consultant, bought a condo and completed several work contracts. Gradually and slowly, my North Star became brighter, closer. I started writing. One sentence, one paragraph, one page at a time. On a good writing day, I managed to write 500 words, typing on a computer keyboard, with a delete button, and word prediction software, is much easier than when I was that child, using a typewriter with a key guard. Days or weeks would go by before my next good writing day. 4 years later, typing one word, one sentence, one paragraph, one chapter, at a time, by following my North Star dream at my own pace, I have nearly 50,000 words filling 73 pages. After much research and thought, I decided to self-publish because finding a traditional publisher was a part-time job in itself, and I was eager to get the book into the hands of readers. December 2006. 1 month after my 40th birthday, 7 boxes of books were delivered. Tears of joy streamed down my cheeks as I carefully cut open the top box and laid my eyes on my book, my baby, for the first time. After all of the years of thinking, asking questions, researching, writing, asking more questions and doing more research, more writing and editing, my dream had finally come true. I had written and self-published my book, titled, I'll Do It Myself, about my life to help others so they know they are not alone in living with a disability. I spent the next several months and years trying to sell my books, which proved harder than I realized, as is evidenced by the 2 boxes still sitting in my living room, nearly 10 years later. After all, my dream was to write my book, not to actually sell it. I even managed to make I'll Do It Myself available on the Amazon Kindle. The response from readers, the thank you notes, comments and even photos that I received were indeed rewarding and fulfilling. Lives were touched. People were inspired and helped.